voice.
Welcome to the Cub Necessities. We're marching. We're storming the Capitol today, Ben. You just got back. How are your legs? You tired?
They're great, man. We're starting a revolution.
Yeah, I saw. Dude, so obviously wild news. A formidable army of incels stormed the government Capitol building yesterday. Broke in.
3 had heart attacks.
3 had really? Was that 3 had heart attacks? 1 person got shot.
1 person got shot. I know of at least 2 died of medical. 3 died of medical conditions there.
Yeah.
We all saw the condition of them storming. They were not in the right shape for the battle.
Yeah. For an army of revolutionaries, there's a lot of type 2 diabetes in there. Yeah, dude. I just feel there's not a lot of masks, just a lot of fucking guys who love Facebook and decided to. What were they? So, do you know exactly what they were? They were going to the Capitol building to protest the count or the actual electoral college count, right?
They, from the endless amount of videos that I watched over the past day. Wow, it's really been that short of a time. They wanted to storm into Congress to let Congress know that they need to start an audit, whatever it is. They need to reevaluate these counts in the key states of Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, and Arizona. Mm-hmm. And they didn't feel like they were doing enough for an investigation, and they wanted to let them know that they needed to do more.
Oh, okay.
The 36 lawsuits and the countless other legal battles, all of which that were turned down, the Supreme Court not hearing the case, that endless amount of legal reviews saying that there's no widespread voter fraud wasn't enough investigating, apparently, for these people.
You know what it is? It's being a sore loser. That's what it is. Mm. And yeah. Well, first of all, I couldn't imagine. First of all, giving a shit that much for a president, that well, even if you love him, mm-hmm. he's still ridiculous. Mm-hmm. Like, just conceptually, it's a ridiculous idea to be like, well, that's our fucking guy, or I'm going to hang my hat on him. And then still to ride or die so hard that you'll literally die of a heart attack on the steps of the Capitol building just because you're
get shot through the neck trying to break through the window to storm Congress. Yeah, it's I saw a really funny post after Biden got elected, and somebody was like, you know what, I'm going to take down my Biden flag today because he already won, and I'm not a fucking weirdo, and I'm not going to go wear Biden shirts for the next 4 years.
No,
because that's weird.
It's super weird. It's super weird because, first of all, it's like he doesn't fucking know your name. It's kind of like, I mean, they're supposed to represent you and your mm-hmm. Your beliefs and opinions or whatever, or mm-hmm. at least kind of, right? Vaguely.
Yeah.
But the grand scheme of things, you're one person and there's a country of 300 something million people. Mm-hmm. I can't give a fuck about you. And how many people were at the Capitol yesterday?
Thousands.
Thousands.
I don't know how many, but I know it's in the thousands. Yeah. And I will say, I understand bumper stickers because my whole life I grew up and I saw Bush bumper stickers, I saw Obama bumper stickers. I understand you don't take those off, but I never once saw somebody wearing a shirt after an election, except the Reagan Bush shirts from the 80s, because that was a Barstool shirt. It's just weird. Nobody walks around wearing Denzel Washington shirts. It'd be weird.
That's a weird thing to if you were I'm mad that Denzel's not playing the next Black Panther, let's go storm Disney.
Yeah, let's burn Disney down.
Let's burn Disney down because Michael B. Jordan is not going to be in the sequel. Well, he died in the first one, guys. He can't be in the sequel.
Yeah. Well, so tell me your thoughts on yesterday. Did you watch all the news coverage live?
Yeah, I did. Well, not live, but I kind of just followed it on Twitter a little bit. and I tweeted this, and I think that's kind of important to say, but the real victim here of all of this is the carpets, man, because
I don't know why I was thinking about the carpets too yesterday.
it's really tough to get dip spit stains out of a carpet, and you know that there was a lot of dip going around yesterday, and a lot of dip getting spit in our nation's Capitol building, and those poor janitors, man. I mean, it's gonna be 3 to 4 weeks before they can lift any of those stains.
I will say though, so I looked at, obviously in the circle that I'm in, I
Mhm.
follow a lot of press photographers and whatnot, and I saw a lot of the aftermath photos, and those janitors, no disrespect to them, there were a lot of rooms that hadn't been dusted in a long time. Um,
Wow. Wow.
you could see fingerprints on the walls and
Well, that's
on desks and
that's
whatnot.
government for
But
you,
but
dude.
hey, it might be work from home.
True. It's really
might
tough to be a
might be that.
janitor from home. That's really tough. Dude, did you see the pictures? Did you see the pictures of, like, I think it was the Congress people getting escorted out, and they were like, "Oh,
Mhm,
this building's been breached, we're evacuating." But they had, like, these fucking, like, fish tank
mhm. Those
astronaut
were the
helmets.
gas masks.
Dude, that's
Yeah, that's their under the
wild.
seat gas mask. I had never seen anything like that before. That's like,
Yeah.
just imagine they walk into Congress. Some of those congressmen, it was their fourth day on the
Yeah.
floor. Imagine they walk in and there's just like a flight attendant there, and they're just like pointing out the exits. Like, over here, you will
Yeah.
find your exits. There are inflatable rafts on each
Yeah.
side, and under your seats, there are inflatable gas masks
Yeah.
that look like a 1960s movie.
Dude, I mean, first of all, they just
Is
look
that
like
part of their orientation?
it must be. I mean, they must go over, like, the safety protocols in the first couple days or something. But what was even funnier, well, I saw a bunch of
They
tweets
should
about this,
probably
dude.
do that for the Capitol
Yeah.
Police too. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, that was trending on it was trending like number 3 on Twitter yesterday about Area 51, like people being like, "Well, if it's this fucking easy to storm the Capitol building, what the fuck are we doing about Area 51?"
Been
Like,
sleeping on it, man.
yeah, seriously, like, everyone pussed out because it was like, they were saying, "Oh, you're gonna get shot." Well, apparently, if you just if you just wear MAGA shit, no one gives a fuck.
Did you see the video of her getting shot?
No. Well, kinda. I kinda saw. I didn't see, like, the actual, like,
You see the blurred out version that CNN put up?
yeah, something like that. Yeah.
MSNBC. My brother's in New Zealand right now,
Mhm.
and apparently one of his friends was watching MSNBC, and they didn't realize it was the video because it didn't have the audio along with it. And they played the video of it happening, and it was from a documentary videographer that was just standing right there, and that was pretty high quality. And it's like, it was literally the room that like Pelosi and a bunch of other people were in, and their Secret Service and Capitol Police in there, and they're shouting, don't don't do it.
Yeah, please don't.
And she breaks the window and climb the window on the door,
Uh-huh.
climbs through the window. She's halfway through and gets shot in the throat. It literally looked like some Nazi zombies from
Yeah.
Call of Duty,
Yeah.
and just falls right back through. And it was like, you play dumb games, you win dumb prizes. Like, it's just, what do you expect to happen? You're
Right.
storming a Capitol building.
Right. It's incredibly stupid. Just all around, I think Twitter and Facebook, did they suspend Trump, like, indefinitely?
Facebook is indefinite. Twitter is 12 hours, and if he messes up again, then it's indefinite.
Dude, it's wild. You know what's wild about
Hmm.
that? It's gonna be wild to have the first president of the United States be on 4chan, because that's the only thing he's gonna be allowed on. It's gonna be like Trump's gonna have his own 4chan page. It's just like he's
If he
just like a
doesn't
Reddit.
already.
I'm sure there's a lot dedicated
Imagine the
to him.
job posting for the person that would have to manage his 4chan channel on like
Yeah,
whitehousecareers.com or whatever .gov.
yeah, yeah. Could you
Just
be?
must have 5 years experience in 4chan.
Well, I'm sure a lot of those people there yesterday could apply and probably get the job. I'm sure they have at least 5 years experience.
You see the video of the old lady getting helped down the stairs by the SWAT
No,
officer.
no.
She's like 80-year-old lady, and he's just holding her hand, like patting it, like, all right, right foot, left foot, like, let's get it going, just move it downstairs, like, just
Oh boy.
escorting her down the stairs of a building she just ran into.
That's so wild, dude. Yeah, I
It
mean,
was
it's so the the concept of thinking that that's gonna do anything, especially like in the face of like like it's done, it's over, and then Trump going like it was still stolen,
well, they'd been lied to. I mean, to be fair,
right, right,
they'd been genuinely lied to, not by who they thought they were lied to by. They
yeah,
thought they were lied to by everybody else except the one person that they believed. But it's
yeah,
and that's the shame. I mean, it's I don't know. I'm still somewhat in shock and at a loss of words. Like
yeah,
you have a building where almost every single member of Congress is in,
mhm,
including your vice president, and you're not prepared for something that was talked about for months openly on these channels.
right. Well, and what I'm most disappointed in is that like you think something like this is going to happen and they should have like protocols in place, but what I'm like really sad is like you didn't see any like terminators coming out of the ground or like
Mm-mm,
start shooting lasers. You didn't see like there's not like a big trap door where there's like a bunch
mm-hmm.
of dogs in a basement. Like they didn't have
Yeah.
any cool like
Mm-mm.
Rick
Nothing. No laser
Sanchez,
beams.
no
No
laser
hot
beams,
oil being poured over the top of the building
nothing.
onto
Not
them.
I mean like
Mm-mm.
you think in these instances like especially have you ever seen like those like Olympus Has Fallen or White what is,
Yeah.
you know
Yeah.
what I'm talking about,
Mm-hmm.
those movies like with Gerard Butler where
Yeah.
there's like 8 different versions where the White
Huge
House gets
disappointment yesterday. I'd
right.
been built up by Hollywood. Huge disappointment.
Nothing. Absolutely nothing. You'd think like as soon as something like that starts happening, turrets just come out and just like
Yep.
the speaker's fucking main
Mm-hmm.
podium just
Some
turns into like
avatar
a
suits.
Gatling gun.
Yeah.
Yeah, or something,
Yeah.
dude. But
It's amazing to me. Like I've seen a few posts from former Capitol, like head of the Capitol Police. They're like, we have protocols in place for this. Like, where was everybody? And it took them like 4 or 6 hours to show up. It's just
yeah.
like the protocols that these people talked about. Those officers that were there were supposed to lay down their lives to protect the building and the people inside that building. And I saw a picture of an overweight cop crying as he was surrounded by Trump protesters, Trump rioters yelling at him.
Yeah.
And it's like that's who you left there. That's it.
Yeah.
That's the one guy.
They,
It's
Paul Blart is
Capitol Police Edition.
Capitol Police Paul Blart. And yeah, I mean it's just kind of disappointing all around. You'd think we have the mightiest army, the like most
Mm-hmm,
elaborate defense apparatus,
mm-hmm.
and then it's like someone really just pulls your pants down and really just exposes your bare ass. It's like we showed our ass on this, dude, big
Yeah.
time.
Any terrorist can walk in there.
Well, and now
As we saw, you know,
yeah, yeah.
a ton yesterday.
I guarantee you that Xi Jinping and Vladimir Putin had a Zoom call that like yesterday where they just
Mm-hmm.
looked at each other in the eyes and jerked off and laughed.
Yeah, literally everybody we've killed in the Middle East that was a terrorist is rolling in the grave, pissed off now that they didn't just try to walk in there.
Right. Well, they have to burst your bubble, Ben, but they have brown skin. I think it might have been a little tougher for them.
Yeah, I think anything over the past 6 months showed us that this would have happened a lot differently if that were the case. I mean,
Yeah, yeah, for real, dude. I
it's
mean, yeah,
that those and that's the argument that always gets brought up where it's like, oh well, it's not the same cops. And in this situation, no, it is. Like these are the same cops that kicked people off of the White House grounds
yeah,
so that Trump could have a photo op in front of a church and gassed all of them and beat them and then arrested them. And then we're hearing reports of multiple handguns and long guns that were confiscated, but no arrests were made for those people. And it's like people are walking away scot-free out of the building. They're not being kettled, they're not being cornered, they're not being arrested. There's no mass arrests. Like it's just where is it?
right. I bet you, and it has definitely something to do with, obviously the people there that are supposed to be in charge of that thing. But I think also, I bet you Trump was like, see if they can intimidate. I'm guessing he's whispering someone's ear, be like, see if they can intimidate some. Maybe we can really change this, flip this around. But nothing's gonna change.
I think what we find out over the next week, as everybody points fingers, is going to be interesting. And the internal documents, because we were hearing reports yesterday that there was something released telling the cops not to be violent, which from a tactical standpoint for police officer safety makes sense. There was a violent crowd throwing with weapons, throwing tear gas, throwing flashbangs at the cops. For their safety, that makes sense. But given the context of who is in the building, that does not make sense.
Right.
and what we haven't even talked about is the confidential information. Up until I think like 3 hours ago, in the back of my mind, I was like, there's so much stuff on those computers, on those people's desks, all of that kind of stuff. And then I saw the picture of the guy from Arkansas who was the one sitting at Pelosi's desk, and he had stolen mail off of her desk. And then I saw another picture that was of her computer screen, and they had left in such a rush that their computer screens were still open with the emergency message from whatever government IT saying like, get the fuck out. And it's like they can just hop on their computers, and there's all of these confidential files from all of these committees, because these are literally the people with all the information.
Right.
Just wide open. I mean, that's crazy.
Well, that's, oh God, Jesus Christ. Yeah, that's fucked up. You think any of those guys were like snooping around? I bet you there to be some like, foreign agitators.
I think that's what I was
there.
thinking yesterday. Like there has to be, but
yeah.
Do I think any of those people, I don't want to discredit their intelligence. I think there's a chance that, one or two of them might have gotten curious, but
yeah.
I don't think that that's genuinely the type of crowd to do that.
Well, I mean,
if that's the right way to put it.
These are the same people, Ben, though, that think that Nancy Pelosi drinks child's blood so she can stay young forever. So,
well, it's not working.
That's a great point. That's a great point, because they all look terrible. They look old as shit.
God, I was looking at McConnell's face last night. That was,
dude, he's got that. How he's got that like black hand. It literally looks like the hand from Harry Potter when Dumbledore wears Voldemort's Horcrux. It's like he's got the curse, man. He's got the Horcrux curse.
I don't know what's more disgusting, his gullet or his like purple lips that just like make him look like a dead person.
He looks like a goose that was killed.
Turtle.
Like a dead goose or dead turtle.
Dead turtle. That lost its shell.
Yeah. Well, he just looks like a pond creature. You know what I mean? Just like something that you would find at a pond.
So you think they'll invoke the 25th Amendment?
Yeah, I think Ilhan Omar already said she's going to try, right?
Well, so that's impeachment, which is different.
Oh, the 25th is like incompetency, right? Like it's like
I looked it up last night because I had never read into it that much outside of history class in high school, but it's so there's 3 forms of the 25th. And the third one is the most extreme, and that's the one that's being considered because that's the only one where the president doesn't really have much of a say. He can still say no, but then everybody has 4 days to be like, no, fuck you, like you're gone.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. The ball's in Pence's court. What I did see last night, though, is Pence in the middle of everything that was happening changed his Twitter biopic, like the cover picture on Twitter, the header, to Biden and Kamala waving to a crowd from behind.
You duplicitous fuck. Down. You duplicitous fuck, Pence. Yeah, dude. I think it's probably a high time that a lot of these guys cut their ties and be like, oh, okay, this is a sinking ship.
Yeah.
Because if it's gonna end like this, dude, like this is not a pretty picture. Like it's not a good look to throw the world's biggest bitch fit over, this deal, and then like have all these freaking incels throw a tantrum in the government fucking Capitol building. And then like that's gonna be, now you rode that Trump train for 4 years and that was like your guy, and now you still want to have a career in politics, and you're like, it's not gonna happen. It's no one's gonna work with you like the same way.
Imagine if they were all armed.
Right. It'd be a different story.
Yeah.
Yeah. It'd be Well, I mean, that's the one thing that I don't like is like a lot of people like I saw like a lot of things people be like attempted coup. It's not an attempted coup per se because I bet you 90% of these people own guns.
I don't know about that.
Well,
I think in the I think it went from protest to riot to attempted coup because there were a lot of pictures from the scene from the press photographers that were in on the
yeah.
Senate floor of uh of militia members um with zip tie handcuffs that were running around, and it's images like that and everything that happened, the death threats that were made towards Pelosi and all the others, that makes it more of a coup than anything else. Because if they're showing up prepared for it, even though they don't have guns and whatnot, I don't think that necessarily makes as much of a difference. I mean, we had coups
Yeah.
long before there were guns. So,
That's true. I mean, it seems a little silly at this
but
point.
if
Yeah.
people are showing up with the intention to harm, with the intention to kidnap, with the intention to disrupt Congress and disrupt what's going on, that is a coup. I
Yeah.
mean, they're trying to overthrow the current government and
Yeah.
in favor of one leader. So
Yeah, I wouldn't I mean, yeah, that would last how long do you think? 7 minutes?
I think the funniest tweet that I saw was you see the one about the United States. Uh if what was it? It was if the United States saw what was happening in the United States would invade the United States for trying to overthrow the United States.
Yeah. Like their
So
foreign intervention policy would be like, "Oh shit, we gotta intervene here." Oh,
yeah,
but it's us. Yeah. That's funny.
yeah,
That's a good joke. Yeah.
yeah. I thought that was a good joke because I mean Latin America. I mean it's
Right.
just what the
Right.
U.S. did for the past.
Centuries of banana republics being built and set up. Not the franchise store, mind you, like actual banana republics.
I used to shop there in high school. I loved it.
You
Yeah,
look like a guy who would shop at a
yeah.
banana
Quality
republic.
clothes.
What do
Quality
they even
clothes.
sell there? Like khakis?
A lot of khaki.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of tan clothes. That's pretty much all that they sell. I mean, I'm pretty sure you can go on their site and it's tan, black, and gray clothes.
Well, that's because that's what the aristocracy or like, the 1% of a actual banana republic would wear. Just like a
That's
bunch
funny,
of it's just
man.
a bunch of like generalissimo outfits.
Oh my
Uh,
god.
yeah. Dude,
What a
that's
weird day.
right.
We were going to go into the city and
Uh-huh.
we just started watching Psych. I don't know if you'd ever seen it. I watched it as a kid and we were looking for a show after we finished
Yeah.
Queen's Gambit and we started that. Watch one episode and I hop on my phone and over that hour everything happened. Like they stormed it, and I was like,
Yeah.
okay, well, let's turn on the TV, see what's happening. And we're seeing like the images of them scaling the wall with the stairs like 5 feet away from them instead of just walking up the damn stairs.
Yeah.
And I was like, let's stay in and let's see what happens today.
Yeah. I
It's
think there was mayhem in Salem too, I think, in
yeah,
Oregon.
there was. You see the video or the pictures of the young black woman that was just horrifically beaten in LA.
Yeah. Yeah, I did see
She
that.
was
That
just
was
walking back to her house. A bunch of Trump protesters, or they were protesters in LA,
yeah.
and uh, they asked her if she voted for Trump. She said, "Fuck no," flipped a few of them off. Totally right thing to do. I mean, that's your right to do
Right.
anything like that. And they just started throwing punches at her. One of the guys grabbed her arm. She got maced in the face, beat up, and the cops were literally 5 feet away just watching it all happen. Nothing, no arrests.
It's wild. And it's even worse to like not be involved in that at all. Like you're like you didn't I don't know what she was doing, but like I can't imagine that she was there to like anti-protest by herself, right? She was just walking home.
No, she wasn't anti-protesting. She was just walking home.
Right. And then you get caught up in
And they
the
were
like
on her street. They were just walking through her
God, that
street.
sucks so hard, dude. That's so fucked up. I mean, that's just such a like this is such a chump move to do something like that. And it's so like it's so shitty. And so, it's
How
gross.
are you also like so insanely fragile about your political candidate that
Right. And this
you're
is
like,
what
I'm gonna
yeah,
commit a felony right now
right. Right.
in their name?
Right. And this is what I said this to Devin on an earlier episode, but if you care like this much that you like meet up with people from a Facebook group at like a public place,
Hmm.
you're a fucking nerd. You suck and you're a nerd. I don't care what side of politics you're on, you're a fucking nerd.
So
And
now I have a question for you
right.
based off of that. I don't disagree with you. I
Hmm.
don't know if I do agree with you though.
Okay.
Uh, let's say you're living in, let's go extreme. Let's go North Korea,
Right. Okay.
and you find out what's been going on.
Right.
You're like, oh, I'm living in a fucked up version of the Truman Show where I
Hmm.
have no food and no money and no job. Uh, and you disseminate that info to a few other people. Now you
Right.
guys are rightfully pissed off. And you guys decide to meet up and start protesting. How different is that
Okay.
from what's going on in America? Are we just viewing that with like a
Well,
privileged lens because nothing is that seriously fucked up in our country?
here's my distinction, Ben, because I think you're right. I think that's exactly what it is. When you're in a dictatorship and you're like,
Hmm.
oh, we have no rights and no food.
Hmm.
And at that point,
Hmm.
it's a revolution of survival. It's so you can like
Hmm.
better your quality of life. When uh, Edward Snowden told all of America that their government records all their phone calls
Hmm.
and basically just spies on them 100% of the time.
Yeah.
There was not one eighth. There's not 1,000th of the same reaction as like when Trump loses the election. So
Yeah.
like
And lies to the entire people.
right, when things are like when credible evidence comes out that they're actually doing
Hmm.
something illegal and criminal to their own populace, no one
Hmm.
gives a fuck. But when this figurehead who is clearly a manipulator either way, no ifs, ands, or buts, and you're just mad because he lost a democratic process. I mean, it's different because it's like one's for survival and one's because you're real bummed.
Yeah.
You're angry and you're upset. So it's like
Yeah.
I get what you're saying. You're right. Like obviously people do need to meet up and kind of some sometimes a
Yeah.
revolution is
There are
very
some situations
necessary.
where it's
Yeah.
allowed. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Did you, I don't know if you were up late enough, but did you hear Lindsey Graham speak on the Senate floor right after or right before
No.
they voted for Arizona? That was the first time in my life I was like, oh my God, I like Lindsey Graham. Which is a weird statement, but like for that 5 minutes that he spoke, I agreed with him. He was just like, in 2000, or what was it? Yeah, it was 2000 when Al Gore lost. Uh, and the Supreme Court ruled 5-4 against him in favor of Bush, and Bush was elected. Uh, I agreed with the court. Al Gore didn't, and Al Gore accepted their decision because that was the democratic process. And when Wisconsin Supreme Court ruled 4-3 that there was no election fraud,
Hmm.
and they certified the votes in Wisconsin. They said that it was a democratic process. I didn't agree. Lindsey Graham didn't agree. Is what I'm saying. But I accepted those results because that's the democratic process, and that's just it. We've got these checks and balances for a reason. We've got a president who's tried to disrupt that balance
Hmm.
over the past couple of years by pushing the executive branch's authority, in my opinion. Um, but that's the process we have. And he made a great point. He was like, to everybody that's here, like objecting to the certification of these votes, it's over. It's over.
Yeah.
Do the right thing if you're actually pissed off, if you actually believe in states' rights, and go lobby those state governments to fix their processes,
Yeah.
to fix their state constitutions that either don't allow or do allow mail-in votes, to do whatever you want, but accept these results because there's no voter fraud. Like there's just none.
Yeah.
He was like, he went to people in Arizona and he was like, give me 40 names, give me 100 names of voter fraud for the prisoners or wherever it was. And they were like, we can't do that. And he was like, okay, give me 10 names. And they couldn't even give him one. And it was like, he just went down this list of all of the claims of voter fraud in all of these places. And he just couldn't even get one case. You know, there was like, what was it, like 40,000 people under the age of 18 voted in Georgia, and they couldn't even give him one.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, it's just like, it's so, what's really fucked though is because we're so, it's such a big country that there's like, and the states have varied so much in their policies and procedures that like the strategy there just to be like, there's 40,000 cases of voter fraud in Georgia, right? Like if you don't immediately live 10 minutes away from where they count the votes in Georgia, you're like, I guess that might be right. I don't know. So if you're just some guy,
how many people live in Georgia?
Yeah, it's like,
yeah,
if you're just like some guy who lives across the country and you're like, I don't know, that sounds right. I mean, I can't verify any of this, but okay. And then you put all your stock in whoever is fucking saying that, and you just gotta take it at face value, and that's how you get like a couple thousand morons to throw a big tantrum.
I mean, I know I've said it before on this podcast, but it all comes down to education. I mean, it's when you think about what your teachers taught you through all levels of school, it's check your sources and show your sources. It's show your math. When you're writing an essay, it's check your sources, it's cite them, put them down below. And all of these people have one source, and it's Trump, or two, QAnon. But it's one and the same.
But
regardless of their regardless of how correct they are or verifiable they are, they're showing one or two sources, and when you have literally everybody else in the entire world being like, no, that's not how it is. You've got scientists, you've got journalists, you've got government officials, you've got military officials. It's just everybody. And you're still choosing to believe these two people. Who do you think Trump gets this information from? These people, and he's still lying to you.
Yeah.
Like, if the same people that Trump gets his information from are saying, no, that's not what's going on, and he's still saying, yes, that is what's going on, where's he getting that information from? And he won't tell you. You can't trust that.
No.
And that's just what we learn in school.
Yeah. Well, I always like, this is what I equate it to. You know how when you see a movie and like in the movie there's an anecdote about some weird fact that they're like, a character will be like, oh, did you know that like 20% of turtles have like 4 penises? And you hear that in a movie that's like a fictional movie, and it's an anecdote. So then you hear that and you internalize it, and then someday like down the line you're like, hey, did you know that like 40% of turtles have 4 penises?
And then your buddy that's a zoologist is like,
he's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Where did you hear that? And you're like, and then you like kind of think about where you heard it, and you're like, oh, you're right. That's not I just heard that in a movie when one guy said it, right? But if someone doesn't correct you, then it's just a fucked up game of telephone where it's like all these anecdotal things you think you heard and you remembered, and then the story's like, I heard 40,000 transgender riot Antifa members voted in Georgia. You're like, okay, first of all, those numbers don't match up. There's too many people. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
But it's just like an anecdotal thing that just like, it's a fucked up game of telephone where eventually there's a bunch of people on Facebook like, well, that seems right. You put it in a headline.
Yeah.
And then it's off to the races.
No, man. I mean, you make a good point. And anybody that has had some quality YouTube enjoyment and watched turtles fuck before would know that they don't have 4 penises.
No, they make the funniest, very slow
and
steady,
make the funniest noises in the world.
Yeah.
And it's adorable. But no, you're right. I mean, it's like the claims that Antifa was the one that was storming and they were undercover yesterday. And it's like, okay, well, let's use some 2-second quick maths, deductive reasoning. Trump called them lovely people, or special people, and said, I love you so much. Think of the rhetoric that he's put out over the past 8 months. No, obviously not.
Yeah, but also like, I mean, it's not that organized, man. Antifa is mostly just people It's mostly just like punk people that don't read a lot of books and just like to hit people. It's literally people who listen to a lot of punk rock and like to hit things with bike locks. That's usually what it is. They're
Yeah,
not
pretty
revolutionary.
much.
They're just idiots. And then it's so it's so stupid.
Side note, do you know what
Oh,
the
it's so
pogo dance is?
no, but it sounds sexual.
Yeah, no, it's not.
Oh,
It's
okay.
not. Well, not that I know of, not the one that I'm talking about.
Oh, okay.
Apparently, I think it was in the 90s. You know how when you see like a mosh pit at a metal concert,
Yeah.
like those videos of those white people that are just full speed
Yeah.
going headfirst into each other. Apparently that evolved from people just jumping up and down, which started in the 70s, and it was called pogo dancing. And it was a counterculture to discos from what I've read. And the only reason I found this out is because one of my favorite songs and music videos of all time by Men with No Hats, Safety Dance.
That's your favorite
I
song of all time?
I said one of them.
Oh.
I was watching the video the other day and I was like, you know what? I wonder where this came from. And I looked it up, and that song was, I think, in response to pogo dancing, that people should dance safer. Or no, it was in response to bouncers at disco clubs that were kicking out pogo dancers, making fun of them that they will dance safely, and that's why they put out that song.
Wow. I didn't know it had that
Yeah.
much meaning to it. That's incredible.
Well, you can dance if you want to.
Dude, that's so funny.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, dude, disco's it's a pretty like shit on category for like a lot of
I can't
people.
disco. I would love to.
I mean, it's fun. It's like kind of groovy, but like I mean, it is very silly.
You know
It's a
what?
silly thing.
I would love to see a video of my dad in the
You think
70s
he was a big
discoing.
disco guy?
He worked at a club.
Oh.
Yeah, yeah. I would pay money to see a video of that.
Where'd he work?
He
50.
worked down the block from Fenway. It was a
Oh.
it was a building owned by one guy, and they had a bar, a strip club, two bars and a strip club, and it's where all of the Boston Mafia would go in the 70s. And so he got to meet all of the big time, like Whitey Bulger,
You met Whitey
all
Bulger?
all of those guys would come in. That's where Kiss used to play when they were first starting out, the Temptations, and it was like this club that all these people went through, Steven Tyler and all that kind of stuff. And he was some shaggy haired 22-year-old,
Yeah.
6'3" that started out as a bartender and a bouncer. And
Wow.
his stories are wild from that. But I would pay money to see him dancing from back then in the
Like
middle of all that.
dude, like a Saturday Night Fever like style dance, like full
Just
like
on top. Well, so apparently a few of the mobsters used to pay him money to get up on the bar and like do some dance, uh, some disco dance, and he would get paid money to do that at the end of the night when they were closing.
you're telling me
Would you say
leaders
no?
of organized crime. No, I mean you got to do it. It's for your
Yeah,
safety.
you can't say no.
You can't
Exactly.
say
Like,
no, but like
I
leaders of
saw where you
organized
were going
crime
with that.
paid to make him dance.
Yeah.
That's wild, dude.
And at that age, with those people sitting in front of you, you
No, you
can't
have to
say
do it.
no.
You got to do
You
it.
have to do it.
Hey, Whitey
And
Bulger killed like 125 people. I'd just be like, sure, whatever you want, man.
yeah,
Whatever you
anything
want.
for you. You don't even have to pay me, man.
You don't
Just
have to pay me. Please just don't kill me
just
and my
leave your
family.
hands on the table. And
I,
don't wait for me in the parking
I
lot.
just don't want to disappear. So if you could make that, keep that off the table.
I love life.
Yeah. I love to
Yeah.
disco and I love to live. So if I could keep doing those things, that'd be great. Yeah, dude, that's wild.
Unreal.
I wonder
He's
what's
got
like,
some good
what
stories.
do you think the equivalent to like our like modern, like current music? What's the disco equivalent? Like TikTok songs, you think?
God, I deleted TikTok
Yeah, dude, good
a
for
few
you.
months ago. I'm really happy with that decision. I had a problem. It was like 6 to 8 hours a day.
It's gross. Yeah, it's gross.
It was, yeah. But yeah, I'd say TikTok dancing is pretty close to it. Or you could say, kind of like that college party scene. Like, you remember when Mo Bamba came out?
Yeah, but there's not like
Whatever that
really,
song was.
there's not like a dance. There's not like a genre of dance associated with that.
No, but and that's the thing. It's like we were watching Queen's Gambit, and I think it was Queen's Gambit, and there was like a scene where everybody like starts doing a dance together.
Yeah,
I think it was that. I've never seen that in my life
no,
outside of a bar mitzvah, where everybody
right.
knows a dance. I don't know a dance,
Yeah, I don't know any choreographed pieces.
and that was the thing. Like, you had all of these dances that people had to learn growing up, and they'd go to clubs. They had dancing clubs where people would go to. You don't see that anymore.
No, just dancing. No.
Yeah.
Well, especially right now, there's not a lot of dancing clubs open.
Well, at least not in California or Oregon, but you go to Texas and everything's wide open.
Yeah, they're just rocking and rolling.
Yeah, rolling through the punches.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I guess if all your people agree to do whatever you want, it's kind of like, all right, you guys agreed to take the risk, I guess.
100%. So when did you get back from Mexico?
No. Well, I went November. I left the 25th of November, I think. No. Or 20, something like that. Yeah. So I got back, I think the 2nd of December.
I thought you were gone for a month.
No, I was gone for a week. My parents were gone for a month.
Oh, so how was it?
It was nice, dude. It was warm. I'm going again in March, I think. February.
When in March? Because I'm coming up there.
Going the 26th of February.
Till when?
Like the 3rd of March, I think.
I think that's when we get up to Oregon. We might come up a little bit sooner.
Oh. When are you coming up to? Are you guys driving all the way to?
Yeah, we got an Airbnb outside of in Sandy for 3 nights.
Oh, in Sandy?
Yeah.
So you're gonna be like 20 minutes away from me.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, fuck yeah! Is it just you and your girl? Just
for
a couple days?
Yeah.
100%. You're driving that far for a couple days?
No, I think we might hit like Cannon Beach or something else on the way up there, but you need a vacation, and NFL season ends in literally a month for me with the Super Bowl. So
yeah. Are you gonna get to virtually shoot it, or do you know?
I'm remote editing it.
Oh, okay.
So
for whoever team's in it?
No, for one of the photographers working it. Not with the team. He's with the NFL. So
that's cool.
It'll be cool, man. I'm tired. I'm ready for the season to end. It's been a long one, but
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, no, it should be a ton of fun, and I don't know. We'll see if the Titans make it past this weekend. So
yeah, I think who do they have on this schedule?
Ravens, and they're hot right now. They are hot right now.
Yeah, that might be tough. Dude, you see Herbert? You see Herbert set all the rookie records?
Oh, he did great, man.
Dude, blew everyone out of the water. I think the only person who had his back 100% of the way was Colin Cowherd. He was all about Herbert, and everyone else rated him super low. And then he was just like, oh, it turns out he's one of the best, set all the rookie records. So that's good.
Did you see that Eagles game? The last game of the season.
Oh, the one that they were like
Eagles against Washington. Football team.
Okay, so I don't. What exactly happened? Because I didn't watch it. They were like tanking.
So Eagles are not good right now.
Yeah, they suck. They're like
awful.
Yeah,
awful. Neither was Washington. I mean, Washington had a few good wins this year, but I think it was somewhere in the first half. Washington's up 17-14 against the Eagles. Hurts had already scored 2 touchdowns, thrown for 75 yards. Not a bad game at all. I think he rushed for both of those touchdowns. And Peterson pulled him, put in their 3rd string quarterback, because he said that he wanted him to get some meaningful reps in the game. So he pulls them when they're down 3 points with a rookie quarterback doing well, so that he can see his third string guy fumble the ball immediately and throw an interception.
So they really
I think
just
the first play he threw the interception.
They're really just trying to tank then.
Yeah, 100% tried to tank.
That's pretty embarrassing.
Good for Ron Rivera. He deserves it. Good for Alex Smith. He deserves it. Everybody in that Washington football team on the field, not in the back office. Yeah. Good for them. But man, it was a sad game to watch. It was bad. I saw Kelsey snapped a ball way over QB's head. It was like a 30-yard tackle. They recovered the ball. It's like a loss of 30 yards, something like that. It was just
someone's just whispering
horror
in their ear,
football.
Like, just lose this, please. But the thing is, they're not gonna. Who's got the number one pick? It's Jets, right?
Number one, no, it's Jaguars because Jets accidentally won a game.
That's right. I could see that.
Eagles maintained their 6th seed spot by losing that game, which they already knew they would do. They knew going into that game that they would secure that spot by losing because everybody else had played their last game of the season.
Yeah.
So they knew they had to lose.
As opposed to what they would have gotten the 7th?
Probably. Oh, does it really make a difference at that point?
It really doesn't at all. It doesn't at all. And
it's not a QB heavy draft.
No, but what it does do is just tell like the rest of it basically shows your players and Hurts too. That's like, listen, fuck you, at like a meeting. It's like a big fuck you to all the players.
Yeah, because those players are playing for their careers. A lot of those guys are in contract years, so they have to play well. They have to win games in order to get bigger contracts.
Yeah, exactly.
And almost every single one of them has incentives. Doesn't mean that they were all close to those incentives, but those guys are fighting for more money in one or more ways. And it really especially sucks for guys that don't have much film on tape. That's why we have all of these semi-pro leagues that are popping up like XFL and all that kind of stuff, because these guys need tape in order to get onto teams. And if you've been on a practice squad for a season, 2 seasons, 3 seasons, you haven't had any tape in 1 to 3 years since you were in college because you're not getting any playing time. So it really sucks.
No other teams are going to see it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No, that's shitty. But who do you think's got the Super Bowl this year? Who's your pick?
Oh man, Green Bay is pretty good. Bills are pretty good, and the Chiefs are pretty good. The Chiefs, I don't want to say the Chiefs are good. The Chiefs know how to win.
Yeah,
and they also know how to make everybody shit bricks because they make it look like they're gonna lose. I mean, I haven't watched much of their games this year, but I've listened to a lot about them because just playing times have conflicted to when I'm working. But it sounds a lot like they're having a lot of close games that with the team they have should not be anywhere near close games.
Yeah.
But they also haven't needed to try for weeks. So
yeah, that's true. I mean, they're already pretty secure in their playoff position, so it's kind of like, whatever.
Yeah. So I think they have a good chance. I don't see Tennessee going in there and beating the Chiefs in the second week of playoffs.
Who do the Bucks have? Team that
Bucks have Washington football team.
That might be
the only team that I see having a chance at beating the Chiefs in the AFC is the Buffalo Bills, because they play so similarly that if the Bills get behind, they can just throw the ball. And they've got a defense that can stop the Chiefs. So it's good for them.
Yeah. And the Browns are in the playoffs too, aren't they?
Yeah, they're going to lose right away.
Who do they have? Steelers?
I'll check for you. I think they do have the Steelers.
That would suck. That's a tough game.
Yeah, but the Steelers have been awful recently.
I saw awful. They lost like their last 4 games, didn't they? They were like 11-0.
Yeah.
And then they lost like
the
4
Browns. Well, they lost to Cincinnati, which is just embarrassing. But
yeah, you should really evaluate some things after that.
Yeah, but the Browns have had a COVID outbreak for the past week, and I think their head coach is out with it now. They've had a bunch of players get exposed to it unnecessarily, and so they've been reeling from that, and that's a tough thing to come back from.
Yeah, that's like the extra added fucked up element to this year's NFL season. It's like you could be on a hot streak, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, we're down 52 men. One guy sneezed, and now everyone's got the fucking Rona.
Well, that was a crazy thing listening to the guys from the Niners talk about what they've been going through the past couple of weeks. Because out here in Santa Clara, we're still shut down.
Yeah,
and Santa Clara County, for those of you that don't know, said no professional teams, no college teams, nobody can play sports right now.
Yeah,
fuck all of you guys. And so the Niners, the day before they were hopping on the plane to a game, found out on the plane through a tweet that Santa Clara County imposed these restrictions, had to play them, come home, pack everything up for an indefinite amount of time, and move to Arizona. They had 3 days to pack, and most of the team is still staying in the team hotel, and all the other guys are staying in Airbnbs around the team hotel, and they have to take golf carts to the practice facility. But only a few of them have their families there with them. Everybody else missed Christmas with their families, missed New Year's with their families because they can't go home and see them because of protocols. And that sucks.
Yeah. This year is really, it's really fucking sucked. And the one, kind of, at least, or I guess say 2020 sucked. It's a new year, man. Maybe it'll be better.
$2,000 checks in 13 days.
Is that what's for real? I never got any money. Never got a cent. Never saw a cent.
Really?
Never saw a cent.
Oh,
Kyle. Yeah. I don't make enough money to warrant that either.
And you worked this whole time too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, which is I'm kind of grateful for. Yeah, but I'm grateful that I got to work. But I haven't seen shit from the government, so I don't know. Maybe I'll just get one big lump sum check.
You should go on the IRS website and see if you have to fill it. Already done it.
Done it a million times. I've talked to a million people, and they all just tell me to go fuck myself.
That's awful, man. I'm sorry to hear that.
Well, it's okay. I'm fine. I don't need it. It'd just be nice to get a little extra money.
So at this point, you would have gotten $1,800 in total between the two checks.
Yep. Yes.
And now that the Democrats will control all of Congress with Kamala splitting the vote, the 50-50, that means that the $2,000 checks are back on the table for when Biden and this takes the presidency. What would you have spent your $3,800
on? I probably would have just saved it, dude. Or bought
jet ski.
Well, I was gonna say one of those self-propelling surfboards. Those are really cool.
Dude, those are really cool. Right. They really are.
And guess how much they cost? Roughly $3,800.
$3,800. There we go.
No, I don't know. Actually, you know what? I wanted to trade my car and get a truck, so I probably would have done that. I'm probably still gonna do that. If I see the money, I'm gonna do that.
Yeah, that makes sense, man.
Yeah, fuck yeah, dude.
What kind of truck would you get?
I'm thinking a Ranger. I think that's what I'm gonna do.
Not a bad choice. Ford makes some pretty good cars now.
Yeah,
I am knocking their older cars in between probably 1980 and 2016.
Yeah,
I am knocking all of those cars.
Yeah, not a good. It was not a good track record then.
Especially the early 2000 Mustangs.
Yeah, dude. Oh god, those look like shit, dude. Those were the worst, the ugliest cars in the. Oh god.
But I will say, I would say 2015. 2013. I took a ride in an F-150 with a friend's dad.
Those have been great. Those have been great.
And then 2015, around 2015, I got a drive a Fusion, a brand new Fusion.
Very nice. Very nice.
That a friend owned. Very nice, super comfortable ride. Yeah. Very high tech.
The hybrid gets like What this
Leather seats.
conversation
Yeah,
is
the
all
hybrid was
over the
great.
place, dude. We start.
Who cares, man?
That's true. That's true.
This
Fuck it.
for those of you that don't know, this conversation is sponsored by Ford. We are
Yeah.
both getting about $10,000 every time we say the word Ford.
So yeah, I love my Ford. You should love your Ford, and let's forge a bond over our Fords.
And start a revolution.
Yep, and drive them right into the Capitol building. There's a bunch of Ford executives. No, that's not the. Don't read that on the copy. That's not on the copy.
You gotta be careful what color you paint your car before you do that. But
oh yeah,
that's that was the crazy thing. So that NASCAR race that I worked in Oregon, like 4 of the Ford cars were sponsored by the Trump campaign back in September when I did the Arca Menards race. Yeah, and so I was looking back at my pictures because I was updating my portfolio, and I was like, hell, I want some more of my racing pictures in there. And I'd say probably about 95% of my best ones from that race were of the Trump cars, because that's the team that won the race. And I was like, I can't put this up there because this is how I get jobs, and just most people in my industry do not support that campaign.
Dude, that's so funny. That's so funny.
Yeah.
But that's really a testament. Weird. That's a testament to him knowing his audience, dude.
I was about to say,
yeah,
expert marketing right there.
Well, that's kind of his whole thing. He's really good at marketing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of undeniable. He's good at marketing. He's
I mean,
probably far the best president with nicknames.
Yeah, and on the spot, he would have made a great rapper.
Yeah, or just like an insult. He's basically a comedian. Dude, he basically does like rallies where he just does like, it's not really stand up, but it's just like, funny-ish to him. Funny like monologue for like 2 hours where he's just like kind of riffing, doing crowd work. It's actually wild. It's actually wild.
Yeah.
That's it.
I've only watched clips. I've never watched a rally, to be honest, but I'm sure they are funny. I'm not going to doubt that.
Yeah, they have to be. But I mean, dude,
they have to be entertaining.
Yeah. When he said, dude, when he said that Ted Cruz's dad might have killed JFK, or that he's like, we don't know that Ted Cruz isn't the Zodiac killer. You're like, okay, that's just funny, dude. That's really funny to say something like that.
I'm glad you brought Ted Cruz up, because how the hell is he one of 6 senators still supporting Trump after he's called his wife, what did he call her, like a fat whore?
Yeah, it's like she's an ugly 3 dog face. Yeah.
I would never.
Yeah.
But good for Ted.
Yeah. That's so brutal.
Makes fun of Ted relentlessly and his dad.
Yeah.
And Ted's like, stop the count. Or they're stealing the count. I don't know. It depends which state you're in. Stop the count, steal the count. But
yeah. That's funny how that works.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, dude. Well, that's
I wonder. Sorry.
I was gonna say that just shows you he has 0 balls.
I genuinely wonder how many people, like Trump supporters, saw stop the steal and stop the count, because they were trying to stop the count in Arizona because Biden was ahead, and they were trying to stop the steal in every other state. And how many of them were like, wait a second, this doesn't make sense. I wonder, like, did that even happen to one person? Like, how many people saw like the hypocrisy in those 2 statements? They were like, well, this is weird. Maybe something's wrong here.
Yeah, it's possible. I don't know. Probably not.
Interesting.
Probably not. There's a lot of dummies out there, dude. There's a lot of dummies, but that's all right. That's just part of the.
Yeah. It's part of the. Going on Instagram Live after storming the Capitol and admitting to all the crimes you just committed.
Right. Not genius.
Yeah.
That's not a criminal mastermind by any stretch of the imagination.
No. The guy from Arkansas stole the letter off Pelosi's desk because he bled on it.
He didn't want to leave his DNA.
He left her a quarter because he's not a thief, is what he said.
Right.
Stole mail off her desk and left her a quarter because he's not a thief.
Right. Well, that's a federal crime, isn't it? To steal someone's
mail? I have to question the logic here, because it's like, okay, so you stole that off her desk because you bled on it, which implies that you don't want your evidence to be there so nobody can figure out who you are. And then you walk outside and self-identify yourself to a reporter as the person that was in that picture, because you had two photographers in there taking your picture that you entertained for like 5-10 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Checks out. Ben, some people just have brains that are made of dog shit, and that's, what are you gonna do?
Oh, come on now, Kyle. That is far more of an overreach than anything we've ever talked about, because dog shit has a lot of wrinkles, and these are some soft-brained people.
Just smooth-brained people. Yeah, that's fair, dude. Yeah, it's just fucking. I'm glad everyone was. Well, I'm glad some people were safe. I'm glad most people were safe. I'm sorry about the people that got hurt. That sucks.
Wow, I'm still mad that this Congress did not, give us $2,000 checks.
Yeah.
And that they've done a lot of things that I don't agree with. I am happy that they all were safe.
Yeah.
And
I don't want anyone, I don't care what your politics are. Like, I don't want anyone to get hurt. That's shitty. It's just gross to wish that on people.
But ask anybody that plays poker or any other strategy game.
Yeah.
And you're not supposed to show your hand. And if you do, it should be a damn strong one. And we showed our hand yesterday, and we have a lot of weaknesses when it comes to
it's all
literal defense of our institutions.
God, dude. No, we basically pulled our pants down, showed our ass to the world.
Mm-hmm.
What they saw was a really dumpy, ugly butt.
Well, that's what happened with 9/11. And that's why when you go through security today, even though all the studies have shown that the TSA is ineffective and doesn't work,
yeah,
that's why we have to go through these protocols, because of everything that happened in 9/11 showed our flaws. And it's going to be interesting seeing how they rectify this situation to make it appear as if there are protocols in place.
I'm telling you, dude, we're just going to have RoboCops walking around the streets. We're going to live
Did you see the video? You see the video from the Boston University robotics, whatever it is. The robots that we've seen like walking for a few years. Mm-hmm. They showed them like fluidly dancing the other day to music.
Right.
Terrifying.
Right.
I almost wanted to like DM Will Smith and just be like, "Hey man, thoughts?
Can you put these down?
Does this remind you of a movie you've been in?"
It doesn't end well, dude. It's like we literally live in like a Black Mirror episode, but it just hasn't ended yet. We're in like season.
Okay, so this is a good question for you then.
Yeah.
Because earlier we were talking about White House Down and all those movies, and how we were expecting to see images of protesters or rioters' bodies piled up outside the Capitol building.
Yeah.
Because that's honestly what should have happened, logically. But when we're talking about iRobot, how can, if that didn't happen yesterday, how can we be certain that robots will take over based off of the robots movies? Because every single Secret Service movie has pointed to the fact that everybody will die if you try to hurt one of these people.
Yeah. And
every robot movie has shown that robots will take over. But if that didn't happen, how can we know that robots will take over?
Yeah, that's true. Maybe we don't have good robots at all. But I also think that maybe there's like a concerted effort by intelligence communities to like tell people in Hollywood, like, hey, if you're gonna make this kind of movie, make us really seem like we got our shit together. That way there's like a popular consensus that's like, oh, well, if you storm the White House, you'll get turned into dust by a laser beam. That way, like, they can just control like a modicum of like, just like being like, you've seen this in media, so like in your head, you're gonna get turned into dust by some fucking super futuristic technology, so might as well not do it. And that's how they kind of maintain some of their peace.
I think that's a possibility for sure.
It would make sense, right? It would make sense to like do that intentionally, to be like, let's just like really paint the narrative in media that like it's a lot harder to get away with these things than it actually is.
Yeah, no, and I do think that's a possibility. Did you see, I don't remember reading about the fallout afterwards, but there was the ex-head of the Israeli space agency talking about how there are aliens and
Did
the
I?
U.S. has.
You don't listen to the podcast at all, do you?
Dude, I thought you were in Mexico.
I did a whole episode about it, Ben.
Okay, talk to me about it. Refresh your viewers about it. I seriously, I missed all of that because I thought you were in Mexico.
Yeah. Well, you can still listen to podcasts even if I'm on vacation.
I wasn't checking because I thought you were on vacation.
It's well, here's what I know. He's 85 years old. So that's just right off the bat. It's like we got to take this with a grain of salt. It's not being corroborated by any other officials that he worked with. Take it with a grain of salt. It was the original interview and article was posted by the New York Post. Take that with a big grain of salt.
Mm-hmm.
Do I think that it's possible? It's possible. Do I think it's likely? No, not really. Because it's like, it's just so many extra steps and hoops to jump through with a galactic federation, and they got a secret alliance. It's like, sure, maybe.
And how would they get an audience with the U.S.? How would they know that the U.S. government is the government to get an audience with, and how would they go about getting that audience without anybody noticing?
Well, I mean, honestly, that's pretty easy, right? You can there's satellites you can.
No, I want to talk about that though. Yeah, that's fair.
You get satellites, you can just be, I mean, and we also stream all of our media and data to space.
But technically, those streams, from what I do know, and I'm not
a
scientist.
They would take.
They go to the satellites.
Yeah.
No, but they go straight to the satellites and then straight back down to Earth.
Yeah.
So how would I don't know the science. How would they intercept that?
Oh, they just fly up to it in their spaceship, dude. They just plug into it.
But they're already past it, you know? You know what I mean? Like the satellite is in between us and them.
Right. No, but they just fly up to a satellite, put an HDMI cable into it.
Yeah, nobody would notice that. That's fair.
And they just sit behind it. They're like, oh, okay, well, let's do a little research. And then
how crazy would that be if they had the same ports that we did? And Apple can't even figure their shit out.
They could probably just 3D print one. They'd be like, what goes in here? Okay, boop, 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 and then just make one and then just plug something in. It'd be easy.
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
I love Joe Rogan's tweet yesterday was fucking hilarious.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. Yeah. That was good.
Yeah. All right, aliens, your time.
Dude, you should go back and listen to that alien episode because I did tell a story about a UFO that I saw. And I for sure believe that there are aliens, like 100%.
I think it's foolish to believe anything else.
It's for sure they're out there.
The same kind of mindset that the people that stormed the Capitol had yesterday.
Yeah.
Is the same kind of mindset to believe that there are no other sources of life. Because it's just entitled. It's thinking that you're the only one and you're special. There's no way.
Yeah, no, it's literally it's mathematically improbable that there's not.
Yeah.
Right. So
not impossible.
Just not impossible. Just like very, very unlikely. So I think there's definitely aliens. Have they come to Earth? Maybe if they're like advanced enough. I mean, but like anthropologists go to the Congo all the time and look at monkeys.
That's fair.
So, you know,
I did hear a theory where it was like, I forget the name of it. I know it has an actual name, but it's like civilizations get to the point where they become so advanced that they go extinct because they kill each other off.
Yeah.
And that if there are other sources of intelligent life or if there are other sources of life out there, they're not intelligent enough because they'd already killed each other off.
Ooh, that's dark. Yeah, that's
and then that starts over the evolution cycle, which leads to the dinosaurs dying. Intelligent life.
You think they had computers and stuff?
All dead, all gone.
You think they killed themselves with all the dinosaurs that had like iPhones and stuff?
Called in a meteor strike on themselves.
Oh, you think they had a dinosaur Donald Trump?
Isn't that like the Stegosaurus or something like that?
Dino Trump?
Dinosaurs. Dino Trump. That'd be funny.
Yeah, dude. I don't know. But yeah. Here's what I do know, and this is actually an interesting piece of information, that the stimulus check bill also had a clause in it that said that the intelligence community has 180 days to release all information they have about UFOs and aliens.
Didn't know.
Yeah.
Guess we're gonna have a lot of fun in 160 days or however long it's been.
Right.
Minus 180.
But once again, Ben, I think that was originally reported by the New York Post. So I don't know. I don't know.
Take it with a giant Sahara Desert sized grain of salt.
Yeah. A diamond sized, like Napoleonic diamond sized piece of salt.
So yesterday we turned on the TV and I'm like cooking us breakfast. Late start to the day. And Emily's brother just finished day of class. He comes in and I asked him to turn on the TV and find a news channel. We just canceled all the subscription or all of our cable. So we went on to Roku live TV because that's the only source of live TV to get. And pulls up a news station. I think it was called like Newsmax Now. And it's like showing the protesters. And I was like, oh, I've never heard of them, but it sounds about right. Like, let's just leave it on that. And then I like went back to cooking in the kitchen and they're showing scenes of the protests. And then I come back in and I started listening to what they were saying. And they've got like a Republican senator and he's like, this is happening because they stole the election from us and our president. From me, they try to steal it from me. They try to steal it from our president, all this kind of stuff. I was like, well, it sounds a little off to me. Turns out that it was just like some far right news organization and had no clue.
You should have
turned it on MSNBC after that.
You should have clearly inclinated that from the name Newsmax, dude.
But it's Roku live TV.
Right.
Like, I don't know what kind of shit they have on that. It's free.
But the name Newsmax, dude, that's like that.
Who knows? It could have been like a local
local
San
Newsmax
Francisco station.
No way, dude. That sounds like a far right news network. Newsmax.
But now that I think of it, they definitely have OAN on Roku live TV as well. And
there you go. Just same. Those are probably the same thing, really.
We should look into who owns Roku.
It's just like a bunch of far right think tanks that are like, let's get in the streaming business.
Just unreal how I don't even know, man. Yesterday was wild. It's the type of thing where you're surprised at yourself for being shocked that you're seeing it.
Yeah, dude. It's kind of weird to think that we live in historic times, but we're also all just witnessing most of this from like our house because we can't go anywhere. So this is going to be like, this is a historic era. Like a lot of unprecedented things have happened and we're all just like, oh, that's cool. Like, let me see from my phone.
It's like when I talked to my mom and dad when I was growing up and I was like, Mom, where were you during Woodstock? And she was like, I was fucking there.
She was like, I was in the mud, baby, on acid.
Yeah. And when my kids are like, Dad, where were you when they stormed the Capitol? And I'll be like, I was eating hot Cheetos on my couch.
I was on my couch. Yeah.
I woke up at noon that day because we were in the middle of a pandemic and I was fun employed.
What were you doing? I slept in. I missed the storming.
I was living at home with grandma and grandpa at 23.
Dude, that's so
Meanwhile,
funny.
my mom, when she was 13, is like dancing her ass off at Woodstock. But
she took 2 tabs of acid. She's listening to Jimi Hendrix.
100%. Didn't even remember when I asked her if she saw him live. And we're living in historic times, and it's weird.
Yeah, it's like a weird time that's like a mix between like, oh, nothing's really going on, but also a lot's going on.
It was interesting listening to Kumo and Lemon on CNN last night. I don't listen to talk, to news.
I don't watch.
I only read
any news at all.
Yeah, but yesterday was the type of thing where it's like you have to turn it on the news and see what's going on. And they were talking about how they showed George Floyd dying and they showed Jacob Blake getting shot on live TV, and why they wouldn't show the full clip of the rioter getting shot through the neck yesterday. And they were like, you guys are just too desensitized. It was like 3 a.m. for them when they were talking. And they're like, you guys are just too desensitized to this. Like, this will have no effect on you. You've seen these images forever. It has no effect. We've learned this lesson. Like, there's just no point in showing you this video because you don't care. Like, you obviously don't care anymore because you're storming the Capitol. Like,
I'm kind of thinking about just going like remote, dude. Like, I'm gonna just buy a
Like
Montana
Click?
property. No,
Oh,
I'm just gonna buy it. Not get a remote. I mean, go remote. Like, just get like a log cabin somewhere, dude.
if I could find a way to make money and I enjoyed it
Yeah,
from there, I would do it
yeah.
in
It's
a
like,
heartbeat.
you know, or like at least somewhere where I could go that has like no Wi-Fi, no cell service. I guess I could just break my phone. Why don't I just throw my phone away?
Well, so that's what I did.
Yeah.
I threw it against a tree. No, I deleted I deleted Facebook. I deleted TikTok.
Mhm.
I haven't had Snapchat in years.
Yeah.
All I have is Instagram, and that's mainly because of work. And I go on Facebook probably about once every 3 weeks now to check a jobs group that I'm in
Yeah.
for photography jobs, and that's it. And I went
Yeah.
on this morning and I got into a Facebook argument within 5 minutes, and I was like, oh, I should turn this off. Or yesterday morning, I was like, that's why I'm not on this anymore. It's
You're getting a lot of Facebook arguments?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
It's
You're
toxic.
yeah. But you're also a real can I talk to the manager type of guy too.
No, not really.
I'm just
But
fucking with you. I'm just fucking
I'm not the like
with
I'll
you.
delete you if you support this or that. So I've
Yeah.
got a lot of people that I've met throughout life uh who have very different views as I do, and
Yeah.
leads to some discussions.
Yeah. I mean, that's funny though. Yeah. All right. Well, this has been a good episode. Did you learn anything? Did you teach anything? Did you love
Uh,
anyone?
I did. I
Yeah.
loved you.
And that's what we're here for. And that's why we do this. All right.
That's what America's about.
So next time you want to storm a Capitol building, do it hugs first, baby. Spread the love. Make love, not war. That's a really douchey way to end this podcast. But fuck you. It's my podcast. So don't forget to check out the new website. It's be in the bio. So go check that out. All right, guys. Peace.